Just
Are you likely to have an unchanged team, Justin, or has Pato a chance to...
I'll be a brave man. Be a brave man to change the 11. The boys are playing well. We've still got a couple of training sessions. We haven't had a look at the wicket yet, but I'd say at this stage it'd be more than likely we'll both have the same 11. There used to be a philosophy in Australian cricket which works so well for us. It's harder to get into the team than it is to get out of it. And that usually happens when guys are playing well and the team's playing well. So we've won the last couple of test matches. There's definite benefit and advantage in keeping the core group of players together, and hopefully this will be another opportunity this week to do that.
Can we do a half step forward towards Mike? Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Justin, does that mean you've, in your own head, moved on a little bit from the rotation you used in the Ashes, or was that more specific to England and Australia? Doesn't necessarily require that?
Oh no, it can require it. It's certainly there was benefit in that in England. We had six healthy, fit fast bowlers available to us, and they're different conditions. We had a very specific game plan about how we thought we'd retain the Ashes, and so we used it to our advantage there. There's some different conditions here in Australia. The SCG might be different than Optus Stadium or the Gabba, for example. But at the moment, the three guys, Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins and Josh Hazlewood, they're a formidable combination with Nathan Lyon. They're bowling really well, they're fit and healthy. There's a bit of a gap between test matches. So from that point of view, that'd probably be the best way to go about this test match.
So from this New Zealand side, obviously pretty experienced. The youngest player's only 27. Is this a better team, do you think, than the 01 team that was here that almost knocked you guys out?
I can't remember what happened in 01.
3 draws.
Series, but
right.
had a chance to win in Brisbane.
You got 50, Doss was 1 in Hobart.
Oh, that one? Oh, yeah. Still got the photo up on my wall. Yeah, 63 at one stage, I think he was 1. Never worked out why he was the aggressor and I was the blocker, but anyway, yeah, you work through that, don't you? They're a very good team. New Zealand, not only the New Zealand cricket team, but I love the culture, the seemingly culture of New Zealand sport, where obviously the All Blacks, the New Zealand netball team, now the New Zealand cricket team, they're number 2 in the world in Test cricket. They made the World Cup final, of course, and arguably should have won the final. I'm sure it still breaks some New Zealanders' hearts. But they're a very, very good cricket team. You talk about that continuity, they've certainly got that. They've got a seasoned bowling attack. They've got the aggressor in Wagner, potentially Ferguson. They've got guys in the top 10 in Test cricket. They've got one of the great players in their captain who not only plays with great skill but great humility. So we have huge respect for New Zealand cricket team and New Zealand in general. So it's going to be a great contest. We can't wait for this contest.
Do you expect Trent Boult to play?
Do I expect? We'll be planning that he's going to play. He's obviously outstanding, so we'll be planning that he will be playing. I've got no idea what's happening behind their closed doors. It's none of my business, but we will certainly be planning that he'll be playing. Yeah.
Do you think the events of what's happened in New Zealand over the last 24 hours will affect them at all?
Oh, I'm sure it will. Yeah. I mean, what it does, it puts a test match into huge perspective, doesn't it? And all of a sudden, lives have been torn apart. It's very sad, and obviously our hearts go out to everyone there, and I'm sure it will have an impact. Yeah. So again, I can't talk for how that will affect people, but it affects people who are unaffected by it. So I'm sure it'll affect all New Zealanders.
There's an element of the unknown about this test match, a venue as such. No history. What about from the Australian point of view? That's from New Zealand. What about from the Australian point of view? Is it an element of the unknown about it as well? Yeah,
we played here last year.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of Sheffield Shield games on here. We played the Australian A team played Pakistan here a few weeks ago. What I do know, it's an unbelievable venue. It's magnificent. The outfield's like a skating rink. What I've seen in the past, last year in India, that was certainly what we're looking for in Test cricket. It was a great contest between bat and ball. There was a result. It was entertaining cricket. It was fast and bouncy, and I'd expect that the same here. Obviously, the conditions are going to be very, very hot. Traditionally in Perth, when it gets hot, you get some cracks in the wicket. Having played here for a long time, they're usually more psychological than have a physical impact on the game. But I'm sure there'll be some cracks that open up, and it's usually part of the drama of the contest here in West Australia. So, look, I think it's going to be a very good wicket. Hopefully there's some pace and bounce. Hopefully there's a contest, because that's what we need in Test cricket.
Justin, you've alluded to the heat, and it is summer, but the doctor has said start the match later and etc., the health and well-being of players. It is a summer sport. Where do you consider that?
I'd rather it be hot than cold. Knows me, knows I don't like the cold very much. So, no, look, it is. It's all part of the intrigue of playing Test cricket in the sun. It's one of the played all around the world in some extreme conditions. We're going to get it this week. Probably in a sense, it's lucky we're playing a day-night Test match. The sea breeze, the Fremantle doctor will come in and cool us all down a bit. And even that will have an impact on how the game's played with the swirly wind in the new stadium. So it's all part of it. So our guys are like they adapt now to the red ball and the white ball and the pink ball, and to Test cricket down to T20 cricket. They've got to adapt to different conditions. So whether it's the freezing cold in England, or even last week in Adelaide, or the heat in Perth, that's the beauty of playing 5 days of Test cricket.
Is the heat an advantage for you guys?
Hopefully, who knows? It's going to be tough though. It'll be tough for everyone. We're talking about elite athletes now, so they'll be well prepared for it. But there's no doubt it'll have an effect. I mean, it's you're playing in. If you're a fast bowler or you're batting in a helmet for hopefully a long period of time, you're in 40, just like being in a sauna, isn't it? And I imagine the stadium's going to be pretty hot inside there as well. So again, it's going to be a battle of endurance and a battle of fitness as well as skill, and that's that's why we love Test cricket.
The attack of Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, I mean, would you rate that as the best pace attack in the world?
Oh, it's very good. I'd rather have it as our side than play against it, no doubt about that. And then you put Nathan Lyon in it, who's just brilliant. So it's a very good attack. I mean, I'll let everyone else judge if it's the best bowling attack in the world. Statistically, we're not yet in terms of rankings and all that sort of thing, but the guys are moving up and they're getting better and better as a unit. They're bowling well together. I've said since England, if we make enough runs, we'll win a lot of games of cricket, because we've got a very good pace bowling attack. We've got the best off-spin bowler in the world, I would say. And we've got some stocks, James Pattinson, Jai Richardson and Michael Nessa, and there's some really good depth of talent there as well. So it's a nice position to be in.
Justin, there's been a lot of talk about pitches the last few days, and obviously the MCG issue was somewhat born out of trying to get a bit more out of the wicket, but flat pitches in Australia has sort of become quite commonplace. Like, do you sort of see a solution to that, to get the character back in wickets around the country? And do you see flat pitches as a big problem?
Yeah, I see flat pitch as a huge problem, particularly for the health of cricket. Yeah, and I've said this for not now, but for 10 years or 15, probably 20 years. For the health of Test cricket, for the health of first-class cricket, even for the health of one-day cricket, you want to play on a wickets where there's a contest between bat and ball. And look, there's obviously very well documented about what happened at the MCG this week. But I know that they're trying to push it just so they get a contest back, because we don't want to see cricket anywhere in the world, in my opinion, on flat wickets which are batsman dominated. It's just not a spectacle. Whereas, and that's the pink ball under lights is trying to keep some great life in Test cricket. The most important thing for me is we get the wickets right, so that there's a contest between bat and ball. And I've said it, no secrets, I've said it for a long time, and hopefully every country and everyone around the world, whether it's spinning or whether it's seams around or swings around, or there's pace and bounce, whatever it is, that gives the characteristic of giving the bowlers some hope, because we want a spectacle in all cricket. It's entertainment. We want it to be a spectacle. We don't want to see cricket played on really flat wickets.
And do you think Australia has a bigger problem with it than other countries?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, we've seen it a few years at the MCG, but we usually see, I don't know what the statistics are, but I imagine you get a high proportion of results here in Australia. So definitely not in Australia. I think Australian wickets are going pretty well. There's a lot of focus on the MCG at the moment because of the last few years of Test cricket. And that's good. That's good that's happening, because we want to see wickets. But overall, I think the wickets generally in Australia are excellent.
Do you think overall around the world then there needs to be a bit of a mindset change? If a pitch does something early at the moment, often alarm bells ring if it spins early, or if the side's knocked over for 100 in the first innings because it's seaming. Do you think there needs to be a a broader picture of how people assess?
Well, I'd like to think so, but what we don't want to also go is go the other way where there's no chance for a batsman. It's got to get the balance right. We don't want to see wickets that are so green that we lose, the game's over in 2 days. I mean, that doesn't make sense either. We want to see it so there's a nice balance there, I reckon. So, but when there's wickets falling and the best batsmen score runs, that's great Test cricket or great one-day cricket for me.
Gerald, do you have a concern about the pink ball? Seeing in Adelaide, it didn't tend to swing or do much after, say, the first 6 overs when it was during daylight conditions. Is that a concern going into this match?
Well, hopefully a bit more bounce here at the Wacker. Time will tell, but we still were able to bowl out Pakistan under, I can't remember the exact numbers, but we bowled them out twice. We made them follow on. We got the result. They had some very good batsmen, some experienced batsmen in their side. So we must have done something right with the pink ball. If we stick to our plans and we're really disciplined with it, there was times in the last series we probably just, and there was reasons for it, we just went away from our plans for. I think we lost 2 sessions for the whole series though. So, but overall, as long as we stick to our plans, then we'll hopefully get a result.
Just in as hectic as the schedule is now, as a coach, do you get to watch a lot of cricket? Like say New Zealand, they seem to the likes of Neil Wagner and BJ Watling. They've scored so many runs, taken so many wickets, but it's like nobody's noticed really. Well,
maybe you haven't, but we have because we're playing them on in 2 days' time. We're got an unbelievable support staff who are all over. We know a lot about BJ Watling and we know a lot about Kane. We know a lot about the New Zealand team. These days, it'd be tough being a modern day cricketer. You can't escape. And if someone's doing their homework and doing their due diligence, it's hard to escape. So as the New Zealanders will no doubt have plans against our batters, we will definitely have plans. We've seen a lot of their batting. We've studied them closely. Our bowlers have an opportunity to see their batsmen. We've got incredible intel, if you like, so they'll be well prepared and we won't be taking any of them lightly, even if you think they're going under the radar a bit. Not in our world, baby. They're not under the radar. We're ready for them for Thursday.
Justin, just on your preparations, you've been training at the Wacker and you go to Optus tomorrow. Was that a player decision? Was that your decision, or is that just something that's...
I just think, I suppose I love going to the Wacker. It's like going home. So we want to see the boys down there and running around and being in the Wacker nets. And the wickets, whilst they're getting better and better every single year at this new stadium, I know how hard they're working. For the T20s, they were really good. But we know what we're going to get here at the Wacker. And we had a great day yesterday with the crowd, the fan day coming down. We had the opportunity to play on a centre wicket, which is no better practice. The Wacker's been brilliant. There's no saying. We'll field under lights about that dusk period tonight because that's where we'll get the lights on. Some of the feedback from the last game was that particularly from Paney, that the pink ball under lights, you've got to really watch it that little bit closer, particularly at the pace that our guys were bowling. So we'll get a feel for that tonight, and then we'll be at the stadium to train in the morning.
Was that Josh Philby helping out yesterday with training?
Yeah.
Do you see him as potentially a future wicketkeeper for Australia?
It depends how many runs and how many catches he takes. So he's a talented player, but he just came down. We had the centre wicket practice. He was available to do some wicket keeping, and it was nice to see him down there.
Would you like to see, David Warner's got a lifetime leadership ban, would you like to see that be revisited?
It's a very good question. I wasn't expecting. It was a nice, relaxed morning today, John, from you. The ban's there, and honestly, I haven't really thought about that. I haven't looked at it that closely. So come back to me on that one, if that's all right. We'll talk about that at a later day. Not tomorrow. I probably need a bit more of a think about it. I like to just stand out and think about these things and come up with a pretty good answer for you. But the ban's there for a reason. He's obviously playing excellent cricket at the moment. Long may it continue. He's having a really big impact within the team. I love having him in the team. I just think I love his energy. I love the way he runs between wickets. It's a bit like having Floyd Mayweather and Rory McGregor, a mix of them both in the same team. It's just sort of struts around and, while he's smiling, we're all happy. Whether it's a leadership opportunity in the future, as it stands, that won't be happening.
Yeah. If he was to make a suggestion to the captain, he couldn't therefore be seen as white-handed, could he?
I'm sure he makes lots of suggestions to the captain. I thought that was a really strange comment the other day. I think Ian Chappell, I've obviously got great respect for as a former captain and a long-time commentator, but I just felt that was a really strange. It'd be absolutely ridiculous of Tim Payne not to be looking like all captains do, and having a talk to Steve Smith, who's been a former captain of Australia, and David Warner, and Travis Head, who's a captain of South Australia and the vice captain, and a group of senior bowlers. He'd be crazy. We want to encourage all our guys to think like captains. We want to encourage them to think like captains and leaders on and off the field. So it'd be ridiculous for Payne not to be asking for them and then channeling the information as is required to whoever needs it. So, I was actually pleased to see our guys having a leadership impact on the ground.
Just the question on I suppose the heat. Were you guys doing anything different to prepare for it, or even during the game?
No, I think that the best way to is just through exposure. We were lucky we played in Brisbane last week, which was a few weeks ago. It was pretty hot, and whilst we will I'll make sure our hydration's right, and we'll have the ice baths and all the things that come with being professional sports people these days. We've been exposed to it for a long time. It'll be hot. It's going to be hot and it's going to be hard, but that's okay. That's okay. We like the heat, and we'll give it our best crack.